All right, are we ready? Oh. Good morning, Phoenix Union. My name is Christopher Seidel. I'm the Associate Director at College Depot, and just want to welcome you to a marvelous Tuesday morning. I hope everybody had a wonderful Veterans Day weekend. And we're here today for yet another exciting post-secondary senior advisory. Lots of good stuff going on today, just like every single day. Is why you should always tune in. We are looking today. We're going to be covering strategies for finding scholarships, looking at a net price calculator, meritmore.org, and then tuition fit. So today's theme is strategies to make colleges more affordable at any income level. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to the marvelous Terry Haggerty.
Thanks, Chris. It's great to be with you guys again. Next screen, please. So we're going to talk about 8 different tips to help you get the most out of the most money for your education. Tip number 1 is the obvious. You got to complete that CSS profile in either October or November, and then do your FAFSA in December. It's a little bit flipped this year. Normally we do the CSS profile and the FAFSA in October, but haven't been able to do that. If you need help on the CSS profile, you can always head to the friendly folks at College Depot or talk to your school counselor. Next screen. Tip number 2, and I'm going to give you some examples of this. Look for scholarships for students with particular majors or career interests. So if you have an interest in, say, STEM, you might want to take a look at the SMART scholarship, which is for science, math, and research for transformation. It's part of the National Defense Education Program, which means it's sponsored by the Department of Defense. And it's a way to not only get your education paid for, but there's a career waiting for you at the end of it with the federal government. And there's a December 1st deadline, so we'd really love for you guys to take a look at this. The SMART scholarships are for undergraduates, but also for those who are pursuing their master's and doctoral degrees. And it has to be in one of the 24 STEM disciplines. I'm going to show you which ones, which majors those are. Next screen. So if you take a look here, like if you are interested in aeronautical or astronautical engineering, you might want to apply for this. This scholarship is worth about $30,000 a year. So it's a huge scholarship. So let's imagine that I'm a student and I'm thinking, boy, I really want to go to Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University, and they've got my major. I want to major in aeronautical engineering, but maybe the scholarship that they've offered you doesn't cover enough, which it probably won't. But if you get that the scholarship from Embry-Riddle and you add to it the SMART scholarship, it's affordable. So the SMART scholarship can be used for any university in the country. You can choose any school, but we also want you to note that they are especially looking for applicants who are headed toward HBCUs or Hispanic serving institutions. And by the way, ASU, U of A, and NAU are Hispanic serving institutions. So if your major is anywhere within these majors or these categories, you might just take a look at it. Next screen. In particular, there is a SMART scholarship that is being started this year that is just set aside for incoming freshmen. But the Department of Defense is the largest employer of STEM professionals in the federal government. There's a lot of positions there. There's a lot of people, baby boomers, who are retiring or who have just retired or who will retire soon. So that's creating a lot of room for civilian scientists and engineers. The idea is you get a full tuition benefit a stipend of $30,000 every year. They offer summer internships. You get a mentor to work with you. They pay for your books and health insurance. And then you also get employment in the civilian side of the Department of Defense. To be eligible, you have to be a U.S. citizen. You have to be pursuing a bachelor's degree in one of those 24 areas that I just showed you. You have to graduate high school with at least a 3.0 unweighted GPA. The ability to complete a summer internship. In other words, you have to be willing to set that time aside. You have to be able to obtain and maintain a security clearance. And afterwards, for every year you receive this scholarship, you have to be willing to do full-time civilian employment after graduation with the Department of Defense. So that means if you use this scholarship for 4 years, then you have to do 4 years of service. But that's guaranteed employment. It also allows you to start banking some time so that when you retire many years from now, you'll also have those years where you're earning some kind of pension. All right, next screen. There are tons of helpful online webinars and videos that go over either application tips or just their smart webinars to tell you about how the program works. So the application is actually not hard, but and they're looking for a lot of people. So especially if you have some skills that fit in the STEM disciplines, definitely give it give it a try. Next screen. They have a Let's Hit Submit webinar coming up tomorrow, and so it's at 11 o'clock. It's the Smart Scholarship for Service Program application, and they just are going to go over how to do the application. They'll review best practices. They'll answer questions. Next screen. Now, here's another example of a scholarship by major. This one is on College Board's Big Future website. Again, if you're interested in space, National Space Club and Foundation Keynote Scholarship, the deadline is coming up on the 15th of November. So you've only got a day to take a look. You could win up to $15,000. It provides financial assistance to students interested in working in undergrad fields of STEM, especially those with a focus on space. Next screen. Tip number 3, if you're a high-achieving student, regardless of your income level, look for school-specific scholarship opportunities. Sometimes that means you have to seize a nomination. Next screen. The Davidson College has the Belk Scholarship, which is full ride plus 2 $3,000 special opportunity stipends to either help you for summer internships or special opportunities. But you have to be nominated for this. The nomination deadline is coming up on December 1st. Next screen. University of Virginia has a program called the Jefferson Scholarship Program. It's a full merit scholarship established in the U.S. It's only at the University of Virginia. It is a huge scholarship, great opportunity. That one, there is an application already on their website. If you go to University of Virginia Jefferson Scholarship, it'll take you right to the page. Again, December 1st deadline. Next screen. The Jefferson Scholarship is a full merit scholarship, and there's also an exploratory fund to help support creativity and innovation of all of the Jefferson Scholarship scholars. There's career development, You get connected with their alums. There's also an Institute for Leadership and Citizenship after your freshman year. It's a 2-week institute. There's also money for travel too. Next screen. At Vanderbilt, there are several merit scholarship opportunities. The Ingram Scholars Program is a full tuition, all required fees, and the value of an on-campus housing each year, plus a stipend for a special summer service project. Vanderbilt will provide additional need-based financial aid to recipients whose demonstrated need exceeds the amount of full tuition. In other words, it's a 100% need-met program without any loans. And again, deadline December 1st. Next screen. At Washington University in St. Louis, and I know some of you already have either Vanderbilt or Davidson, on your list of schools, and some of you also have WashU on it too. At WashU, there's the Danforth Scholars Program and the Anika Rodriguez Scholars Program. So that offers multiple full tuition and also half tuition scholarships. So check them out. Just pull up WashU Danforth and you'll see it. Next screen, please. Also, tip number 4, if you're interested in a particular campus, this one goes back to University of Virginia, you should be able to pull up the name of the school plus scholarships. And at UVA, if you take a look, they've got legacy scholarships, alumni scholarships, Ridley scholarships, affinity organizations. They have scholarships just for kids who have particular majors in particular schools, like the School of Engineering. And then there are also additional resources. So don't be afraid to check out the school site and just park on it and look. Next screen. Tip 4.5. Sometimes your willingness to apply to new experimental programs can also boost your chances of admissions, and they might not cost you additional money. For instance, Colby College, which is a 100% need-met school in Maine, it's a no-loan school. They offer 2 global entry programs for incoming first-year students. In other words, if you'd like to start your college career in Spain or in France, you might apply to their global entry program as an incoming freshman. Kenyon College has a program where students travel to Denmark, accompanied by Kenyan professors. They spend their first semester immersed in Danish life, but you're surrounded by other students from Kenya. And then Skidmore College takes 36 adventurous new students, and they sign up to spend their first semester of college in London. Oh my gosh, what opportunities these are. But not everybody is this thrill-seeking. So sometimes it can give you an advantage in the admissions pool if you're willing to do something unconventional. Next screen. Lehigh has an experimental place-based learning program. One of them is a semester in the American West in either Wyoming, actually it's in both Wyoming and New Mexico. And you learn about yourself. It involves a backpacking expedition with the National Outdoor Leadership School, which elevates programs, classroom and field-based learning. And they also have a program where you spend the semester in Ecuador, and you're on the Amazon River and in the city of Quito, and you're spending time in the Galapagos Island. I know, amazing, right? But again, we have had students who have tried they've applied to the Lehigh University experimental place-based learning. And we've found that it's sometimes helpful to make sure that in that pool of thousands of kids who are applying for admissions, it might give you a step ahead. And it's immersive. It's fun. Tip number 5, only apply to schools that meet both high need and that fit your family's financial affordability. Sometimes what I find is that this is tricky for students who are interested in particular schools, but they're not always making sure that the school's financial aid meets their family's financial need. Next screen. So you want to compare apples to apples. Make sure as you're looking at schools, you check out what are their tuition and fees, but not just that. Don't stop just with tuition. You have to look at room and board, books and supplies, personal expenses, and transportation. We want you to focus more on increasing gift aid by looking at scholarships, and so that you can decrease your net price. Next screen. Tip number 6, use net price calculators to determine whether a school is affordable. Many times I find students who are really, they're at the top of their class, their GPA is soaring, and they seem reluctant to try net price calculators, mainly because they've never really looked at their parents' taxes before. But you're getting into the season of CSS Profile and FAFSA, where you have to look at your parents' taxes, or you have to involve them in the process of college admissions in terms of how to pay for or fund schools. So net price calculators can take the fear out of it for everybody. And my intuition is it's a 6-question net price calculator that really can get kind of close to what it might cost at many of these schools. So let's take a look. Next screen. By just answering 6 questions, you can get a really good idea of what the cost would be for you and your family, for you to go to a particular school for 1 year. This is what the landing page looks like. And then you would go, there's a bunch of resources on there, but to use the tool, you'd hit use the tool. You can even try it today if you wanted to get on there now. Next screen. Most private liberal arts colleges use My Intuition. Not all of them do, but most of them do. This was invented in about 2015 by an economics teacher at Wellesley. So Wellesley was the first one, but they shared it. So you can see there's a lot of schools that you may be applying to that might be on here. Next screen. You would watch that 1-minute introductory video, and then you would choose a school to look at. Okay, so let's say I've chosen St. Olaf in Minnesota. I would get on their site. This is on My Intuition. So I would have clicked on, go back one screen. So if you're on My Intuition, you just click on these little squares. So for whichever school you want. If I clicked on the St. Olaf one, next screen, please. It'll look like this. So it'll say, welcome to My Intuition. And then there's an animated 1-minute video that shows you how to use it. If you hit start, that'll come up. And then it just takes you through the 6 questions. It's really easy. Next screen. Here's an example of what it might offer you. So let's say you go on My Intuition, you click on Stanford. You have 2 choices there. You can do the 6-question quick cost estimator, or you can do the full-on net price calculator for each school. So depending on which one of those you choose, That's how you get either the 6-question one or the longer one. And, the longer one is still not as long as the FAFSA or the CSS Profile. It's easier than both of them. So really don't hesitate. Next screen. Tip number 7, intentionally choose schools that offer generous merit. So especially for those of you who are in middle to higher income earning households, Merit More can really help you know which schools are offering merit scholarships. This is hugely important for you. I've talked about Merit More a little bit earlier in the year. I don't know how many of you have really checked it out, but if you are coming from a middle to higher income earning household and you want to know schools that will not only meet your need but offer merit, this is the site to go on. You can either calculate it with or without your ACT score. And you can also search by college name if you want to know if the colleges already on your list offer merit. Next screen. Tip number 7, use helpful tools and resources created to reduce your costs. We're going to take a look at these 3, Merit More, Tuition Fit, and WUI. Next screen. So on Merit More, you want to follow step 1, click on the blog, listen to their short video, and then click on the Merit Age Search tool. It's really, it's super easy to do. And the How You Pay for College video barely takes any time at all. It's really short, but it gives you an idea. On Merit More, you can also compare offers, and it will also help you appeal or write an appeal letter later on if what a school offers you isn't enough. We'll talk about this more later on in the year in March and April to help those of you who may want to appeal for more money from a school know how to write that letter. Every year we have students who write appeal letters that get more money from a school. It's usually not our public universities in state. I'm strictly talking about out-of-state schools that are private. Next screen. Tuition Fit is another really interesting site. And the way it works is you register on there, and then as you get your financial aid offer, you send them your offer. They do this with kids all over the country who are applying to schools, and it allows you, if you give them your information, they take all the identifiers off of it, but it allows you to look and compare to offers other students who are applying to your same schools, what their offers were, to see if you're getting an offer that fits, that's fair, or if other students are getting better offers that would tell you maybe you should appeal. Next screen. Next screen. You're going in the wrong direction. There we go. All right. So Tuition Fit offers a helpful video tutorial to get you started. You set up a free account. You find colleges in your price range based on looking at real financial aid awards, either from last year or the current year. And there are videos to the right to tell you how to set up your account. If you're a counselor, you can also set up an account so that you can see student awards, and it helps you advise students. It's pretty cool. Next screen. And then last, there's the Western Undergraduate Exchange. So there are 17 Western states, that's including Alaska, it's including Hawaii, and some of the islands out there. But the Western Undergraduate Exchange is a cost-saving tuition savings program where basically states have made an agreement. You know, I'm I'm a student from Arizona. I want to go to one of these 17 Western states that are participating. Instead of them charging me complete out-of-state admissions, they're willing at the Western Undergraduate Exchange rate, they're willing to offer me tuition that is 1.5 times the amount of regular tuition instead of 3 times the amount. Next screen. Oh, hold on one sec. See where it says click here? This is on their landing page, and it's not very obvious. They haven't made a big radio button there for people to click on. So you have to just know it's there practically. You click there. Next screen. And basically, there's about 160 institutions that are in these Western states. They're both 2-year schools and 4-year schools. But the schools agree to charge out-of-state students no more than 150% of the institution's in-state tuition. So you save a lot of money. The way you get started is you can just open up and look at their QR code, and you have to make sure that you meet their deadlines. And you have to apply to directly to the college. Many times to get the WUI rate, there is one question. Like let's say I'm applying to University of Utah or Colorado State University. On their application will usually be one question that says, are you applying through the Western Undergraduate Exchange? You need to answer yes to that question to get that rate. They do not make it obvious. Next screen. And there's a lot to learn when it comes to college admissions. So definitely don't forget, it's really good to ask your school counselor, or if you're at a micro school, ask your micro school leader. You can always reach out to somebody like me, your post-secondary counselor kind of at large. You can talk to your grid advisors at College Depot, or you can make an appointment with a College Depot advisor or an advisor from Be a Leader. But definitely reach out for help, because collectively we know a lot when it comes to college admissions and ways to keep your costs down. So don't be afraid to reach out to us. Thanks for listening today. If you have more questions, I'm always on the end of a Teams link. So if you want to reach out to me there or through email, I'm at haggerty@phoenixunion.org. Thanks for listening today. Have a great rest of your week.